Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode here at PATAFA Athlete Network. It's your girl, Allie, your host and Philippine vaulter. Today's special guest is a friend and fellow vaulter, Ernest John EJ Obiena. EJ, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey Ali, what's up? I'm doing good. It's good to see a familiar face.
First off, thanks for joining me today. I know you have a jam-packed schedule, and I know you just got back, so you're a bit jet-lagged. So it's always nice to get a chance to catch up with you. Second of all, what an indoor season you've had. A couple of highlights include a 591 jump at the Mondo Classic, which is tied for your record that you jumped in France in 2022. You missed the podium only one time this season. That was in France a couple weeks ago at the Meeting International de Living. Top three in each of the first six events this year. Gold in Perch and Or in France, Orland Cup in Poland, silvers in Estaf Indoor in Germany, and bronze in Mondo Classic. What a mouthful, but a very impressive resume so far. So looking at it, you've had a very successful indoor season for any athlete, right? How do you feel about your performance this indoor? Are there still things that you can work on?
I think it's successful in a way that I podium in a lot of the meets, but probably I wouldn't really say it was a big of a success. Not being cocky or anything, but I need to be better than how or what I kind of showed this indoor season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of things I could improve. I mean, definitely not all of them I've won, so there's definitely a lot of that. Um, but in all seriousness, it's probably not a lot of people know this. Your coach knows this, and I wanted to call the indoor season off. I was having a really bad last few days before the meets, and I was like, I don't want to compete indoors if I'm gonna do terrible. And as I said, the indoor season, the main goal was the Asian indoors, and having that on the brink of even just the brink of possibility to go there, it didn't really give me a sense of direction the whole indoor season. And it's tough. It's tough as an athlete not knowing where you're gonna go, how you're gonna compete, what exactly is the important competition. It's basically you mapping your own way, which is why there are, you know championships are there because of that. It helps us guide us. We know that every 4 years there's Olympics, so we know if you do the study and all the stats, like in every 4 years there's a spike in performance in all the athletes. Why is that? Because the biggest competition in a track and field athlete's career happens, and everybody jumps good at that year.
Right.
So yeah, it was kind of tough. Is it successful? I would say yes. I'm proud in some of the competition how I compose myself, but is it is it wonderful? Is it like, oh yes, that's a good indoor season feeling? Not really. Uh, it's it's one of those seasons.
You were so humble, EJ. What was your most memorable moment or memory during this indoor season?
Memorable. I think the competition in Mondo Classic. I mean, well, what can I say? It was one of the best organized competition out there. Not saying it's because it's Mondo's competition, but it truly is. There's no delays. Bars up as fast as possible. Like really, you can't say anything about the meet. That it's really is well prepared. The crowd was amazing. The facilities are amazing, the accommodation, the way we're treated by all of it is like it's really is perfect. So for me to be that successful, I would say it needs everything that it got. Like it's one of those competition that, you know, how do you say this? Mondo could have selected people that he could easily, well, his Mondo, but still he could have selected anyone that he would want, but he literally made an effort to get the top 10 or at least the top 10 best performing athlete of the year to
Mhm.
actually have the best meet at the scene. I would arguably say the best competition indoors. I
Yeah.
mean, you go to any nationals, I think you're not gonna get that big of a podium, not even a championship.
Mhm.
And maybe except World Championship last year where bronze was 94, but their bronze was 91.
Right.
That's that's high. That's high level competition.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Mondo, right? World record holder. So he has to put on a show, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that indoor season is over, what's next for you and what are the competitions you're prepping for and where?
Well, outdoors is quite busy. I mean, not just for me, for us. We have four major championship. At least for me, I'm eyeing on four. That's Southeast Asian Games first. Then you have the Asian Athletics Championship in Thailand. Then you have the World Championship in Budapest a month after Asian Championship. Then you have Asian Games later the year around what late September.
Yep.
So we have four as as a total opposite for me of the indoors. Like there's
Mhm.
a lot of things to focus on,
Yeah.
but it's just again not easy. And you need to peak and unload and load between these to make sure that you actually make it to the last part of the season. Um, that's the goal. I mean, medal in all of those, win as much as I can. Hopefully all gold. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things there that I haven't won. I'm defending two titles there. Well, considering I'm defending kind of three. I haven't won anything in the Asian Games, so yeah, that's gonna be hopefully the first for me. And yeah. I mean, that would seal a lot of the things that I haven't won outdoors. So that would be cool. This year might be one to make or break.
Well, I hope to see you there and I hope to be there with you.
Yeah.
You've become quite a role model to many younger athletes, not just in the Philippines, but also worldwide. What message would you like to convey to younger athletes?
Damn, role model. I'm just doing me, really. I think being a role model is kind of a really big pressure. The way that you can affect someone's life, that's tough. So what can I say? I mean, just live and really enjoy, the day to day. I think when it comes to being an athlete, you really need to enjoy the process of, the struggle and daily training, the challenges that comes with it. You need to embrace it at the same time. You just need to move forward and push through. And I think when you're enjoying things, that's where you can push yourself and actually endure the most. And I think that's what's gonna make you the best athlete or the best version of an athlete you can be. And I guess that's gonna be my piece for them. And I wouldn't say a role model, but more like I'm too outspoken. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, that's a pretty good advice, Mr. Worldwide. EJ, if I were to ask you to describe yourself in one word, who you are and what you're about, what word would that be and why?
I don't know. I mean, it's what I've noticed the past few months or the past few years. I've been trying to do everything as efficiently as I can. What I mean by that is either doing it the best quality as I can or as fast as I can. So being efficient for me is maximizing the time that I have and in every single process. So maybe efficiency.
Okay,
Kind of boring, but sure.
that works. A hypothetical question for you. If some miraculous way a leprechaun popped out of the ground right now and allowed you one wish, what would that be?
Maybe I'll just make everything for me. Like I can pop in any place in the world with my pulse without a problem. I mean, that would solve half of the things I stress about
Yeah,
and definitely would make everything so much easier.
right, right. And as a boss,
Right.
I could agree. So speaking of polls, there were a lot of talks about polls this past couple of weeks. I'm sure many of us vaulters would like to know, what is in EJ Obiena's poll bag?
I mean, poles. UCS poles. I usually travel with 6 to 8 poles, depending depending on how I feel and how the season's been going. Um, Normally I start. I mean, my poles most of the time I would prefer it in one length. But unfortunately, the sets that I have are kind of odd. So what I mean by odd, so they're like poles that are 525 and there are poles that are for 510. I always bring one pole, the soft pole, just to check my mark, which probably the only pole in the bag that gets used every single competition because I need to use it to check my marks. Then depending on how that jump goes, I usually either skip one pole progression in the bag, and that pole progression is for rain or terrible conditions.
Mhm.
So it's like end of the world kind of,
Yeah.
it's like I'm gonna take off with whatever I can and I can make a bar on that pole.
Mhm.
And then have my money pole. Those I would say there's two poles in the bag with the money pole. Those two poles are, when I'm on a regular day, those are the poles that I can use to either compete with the best of the best in the world. And yeah, those are the probably two most used poles in competition. Like what I mean by that is like that's the most jumps I do in those poles. And then you have the freakishly good day poles, which I have three of them. Those are big ones. 11, there's an 11, I think it's an 11-1 or 11-2 that I have, and then an 11-5, and then 11-7. Yeah. So those poles are quite big.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds kind of stiff with the 11s right there.
yeah, well, I'm afraid in some of them. Hopefully I get used to using those big poles and make some big bars. Yeah, I mean that's what I have. Then I have the pole plugs in, like it's removed, but it's on the cap as always. Like it's just
Haven't used
simpler that
those
way for
polls.
me.
Haven't used those polls at all this season.
I got on the 11-5 in Mondo's meet,
Hmm.
but I mean I tried to make I tried to make six. I tried to jump six, but with the 11-5, I think it was possible, but not on that day. Like I should have moved up a pole, probably. Should have
Hmm.
tried that 11-2, but as I said, coming into that meet, I was not exactly where I should be. Like I was still figuring out my runs. I was still figuring out how am I going to deal with all of these like competitions that I have indoors without really a championship.
Yeah.
So it wasn't there wasn't any reason for me to take that risk that day. And Vitaly didn't really push me to take that risk. So um I'll blame it on Vitaly maybe, but kidding aside, I mean I should have known that I could have moved up into that pole, but then again it wasn't like a day that I needed to do it. So I mean I got on them. I didn't plant one, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a perspective of what's really going on inside the stadium. When you and the coach, it's like, what is that? We're
Okay.
going to play a game called Rapid Fire, where you have 1 minute to answer as many questions as you can. Of course, I'll do my best to read the questions as fast as I can. Are you down to play?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right. Let me set up my handy dandy timer. Once the timer goes off, I'm just gonna start asking questions. What was the last thing you watched on TV?
Twilight.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Okay. Your favorite Filipino dish?
Kare kare.
Same. Would you rather get the silent treatment from Vitaly or get yelled at?
Silent treatment sometimes is better.
What is the title of the Philippine national anthem?
Lupang hinirang.
Okay, besides yourself, who is your favorite Philippine Olympic pole vaulter?
There's a lot. I mean, Tim Mack, I would say.
Wrong answer. Besides yourself, who is your favorite
Oh, I thought my
Philippine
favorite. Oh,
Olympic?
Edmund Scatter. I mean, there's only one.
Your go-to karaoke song?
None.
If you can only bring one thing on the deserted island, what would it be?
Phone, maybe.
Phone? What would you do with the phone on a deserted
I
island?
mean, you're deserted island, so you want to get some way of communication.
Right? Okay, what if you don't have signal? What would you do with
Yeah,
that phone?
you still have 911. If an Apple Watch can send a emergency note everywhere, how can a phone not do that? I mean,
I guess in EJ's world. Still.
right?
You got 8 questions right, so you beat Jeremy. So good job.
Oh,
Before I let you go, is there any message for all your supporters and where we can follow you on any social media platform?
um, I mean, you guys can follow me in Facebook, Instagram, and now I have Twitter and TikTok, which is quite a lot for me. I'm not one of those young people anymore, I would say. I don't have much time to run all of those accounts, but yeah, my Instagram is probably and the Facebook is probably the best to follow my day to day. But you want to see the fun stuff, the funner side, and as I said, quite a bit outspoken. Probably go to Twitter and see how much I blabber, and TikTok to see the fun side of my life.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Ali.
Yo. All
Wait, my camera. Yeah.
right. Ready, set, action. Because I'm doing all the production here. Proctor, producer. Oh my
No,
God.
reset. You already lost 4 seconds, 5 seconds now. And maybe you should put it on the other side. I mean, it's covering the
What?
PATAFA.
I can't. I don't know how. Literally, I need an assistant.